starting by priming. So you don't want to run your pump dry. So the liquid line is right here. So that means that that's already primed, so I don't need to prime it. So we're just gonna go and hook it up. And I always like to close the valve here, because if you're using a pump for the first time, it's a magnetic pump. This is a magnetic pump, so you don't wanna put this valve here. You don't want to restrict the flow going in, you want to restrict the flow going out, or else if you restrict the flow here, then you're not going to get as much liquid here and the pump is going to be running dry, and that's not good for the pump. Even though it's magnetic, you still don't want to run it dry. So I like to control the flow over here, and then you can have it closed and the pump can be running because there's still liquid inside here, so the pump is not going to mess up. So that's completely fine. So now we're going to go ahead and turn on the pump and set our flow. Alright, that's a good flow right there. That takes about 7 minutes for 1 gallon right there. And then I always like to put a timer. I like to start my timer and then see how long it takes for that 1 gallon. And my boil kettle's got some markings, so I can tell when 1 gallon, 2 gallons, when it gets there. If it's going way too fast, then I'll reduce it. If it's going too slow, then I'll give it more. But you want to do, at least for me, about 1 gallon per 7 minutes. And everybody's system is different. You know, you do what works best for you. Kind of like try and error, but I think that's a good starting point. And I set my timer for 50 minutes. And then we'll go from there. And my sparging method is fly sparge. You know, there's bad sparging, but I like fly sparging better. Yeah, that's what I started with, and that's what I'm sticking to because it works for me the best. Gently pour some water in like this. Like I go around and you just keep about 2 inches above the grain bed. And right now there's all this talk on the internet and the forums about hot side aeration. I've never had any problems with doing this way, and you know, I heard from Professor Dr. Bamforth, one of UCD's top researchers. He says hot side aeration it exists, but not at the homebrew level, because if you have good fermentation, that takes care of it. And I entered a few competitions. I haven't had a problem with it in the score sheet. Well, judges mentioning it, so it's fine. My fermentation, I think, is pretty good. It takes care of it, and I haven't had problems with it, so I'm sticking with it. And it's one of those things that, you know, I like to go around like this. Just put some like my sparge water around. Before I used to put a spoon through like this, and then just pour the water in here. But that started creating tunneling because my efficiency was not good. I was just getting like really low efficiency. Like I was like 10 points under my target gravity, and that just made me lazy. So then I stopped that and I just go around and try to keep it like uniform. And my sparge is pretty good. So that's the way I do it, and it's not like an option for you guys. You know, everybody does what works best with their system. There's an option there. And we'll be doing that for like 50 minutes, just keeping like about 2 inches above the grain bed until we collect 7 gallons. So yeah. Alright, so now we're at the part of the boil. We sparged from the mash tun to the boil kettle. We started the boil. I added foam control Firm Cup S. I got this at morebeer.com. It calls for 2 drops per gallon, so I added 14 drops for my 7 gallons in the boil kettle. And And I also added the hops. I added the hops as soon as it started boiling. So I got my 60-minute hop addition. That's the only thing that I have. This beer only calls for bitter hops because you just want to balance out the beer. You don't want any hop flavor or hop aromas in there because we want the pumpkin spices aroma to come out. When the pumpkin flavor, that's what we're going for. It's a pumpkin ale. We just wanted the hops to balance out the beer. But I think I want to show that's very important is what a rolling boil looks like. And this is what a rolling boil looks like. The wort is moving from the bottom up and it's turning over. We're getting the wort moving from the bottom up, getting those DMS precursors to evaporate. And you don't want to put a lid on it as well. If you put a lid on it, then those DMS precursors coming out, they condense, and then if you put a lid on it, they just go back into the wort and they end up with those canned corn flavors, and those are all flavors. We don't want that. So this is what a rolling boil looks like. You know, a boil doesn't have to be where like you can't even get near your boil kettle because the wort is just spilling out because the heat is so high. We don't want that. This is good enough. This is just getting the wort to move, get those compounds to come out and come out of solution. So this is what we're going for. And this will boil off about 1 gallon in the whole 6 minutes. So this is good enough. Just want to show that. Alright, so we're towards the end of the boil. We have about 15 minutes left. So I'm gonna put in my wort chiller. It's a 50 feet wort chiller, copper, 3/8 out of diameter. And I'm gonna put it in 15 minutes before the end of the boil to get it to sanitize. Get it sanitized, and then once we turn off the heat, then we'll start pumping water through it. Alright, so now we're 5 minutes to the boil. We're gonna add the wort flock, and the wort flock, what it does, it helps coagulate those proteins and it filter out like things we don't want to troop. It brings them out of solution once we start cooling the wort. So that helps end up with the clear beer at the end. And it's also the point where I like to add my yeast nutrient, very important. You know, this helps the yeast with their health. Gives them those essential vitamins and minerals that the yeast need to ferment your beer out. Very important. And I also started my pump. I'm recirculating, getting the whirlpool going on, and because right now the wort is boiling, so I like it. Also helps in sanitizing my lines. You know, my tubing and the pump is sanitizing the wort boiling, so it kills any bacteria that's in there. I like to do that for at least 5 minutes, and I'll keep it going. Once done with the boil, I'm gonna cover the wort with some pour and then keep on wort boiling until we're done at 6 to 7 degrees is what we're gonna be fermenting to. Alright, so we're at the end of the boil. It's been an hour on our boil, so now we're gonna go ahead and turn off the heat. And as we turn off the heat, this is the dangerous part. Once the wort is done boiling, anything that gets into it is dangerous. It means contamination. So while I'm wort pulling, so right now I'm recirculating my wort. There's a whirlpool going on. I have an elbow over here, so that's getting the whirlpool going on. So I'm gonna cover it. So nothing gets into the beer as it's cooling. Because once the wort cools, and if you get something like some breeze and brings dust particles into the beer, then into the wort, it's not beer yet, then that could contaminate. It could have bacteria, and bacteria in there could reproduce, and it's gonna kill your wort. So we're gonna cool it for now, and we're gonna whirlpool. We're gonna go ahead and turn on the wort chiller. This is I have a bucket for the hot water. So right now it's 208 degrees, so this water is coming out hot. So I like to put it in a bucket, and then I let it cool. Once the water is cool, then I put it on my grass or plants or garden, whatever you guys have. You guys can do that. So for now, we're gonna do that. Let it get to a good temperature. Alright, so we're towards the end of cooling our wort. We're at 91 degrees. It's kind of hot out here today. It's about 100, so we're not gonna get much cooling anymore. So a technique to be able to get your wort down to like the 60s for an ale, which is also the same technique I use when I do a lager. I have a submersible pump. Used to be my friend. He used to use it for his fish tank, so I took it over. Now I use it for this. Submersible pump. You put it in with an ice bath, and you just pump water through your wort chiller, and that helps you bring down the temperature. Like if it's a really hot day, you get it down pretty quick, and it also helps for lagers bring down the temperature to the 40s. So just go ahead and plug it in. There it goes. It's working, and this is now what is coming throughout. You can see it moving. So now we're just gonna wait, and wait for the temperature to drop to. We're gonna ferment at 67 degrees Fahrenheit, but I always like to bring the temperature down to 64. 3 degrees more, and just when I go from the boil kettle to my fermenter, temperature tends to come up a couple of degrees. So then I have before my temperature used to come up to like 70, then I had to drop it down in my fermenter. But this is a lot faster, so 64. By the time I put in my fermentation chamber, it's up to 67. All right, so we're done cooling the wort. We get it down to 65 degrees with the ice bath now. Let it whirlpool for a few minutes after that to get all the truth to settle down to the middle so we don't transfer it into the fermenter. The fermenter has been cleaned and sanitized, so now we're ready to transfer it. I got the pump going, and I like to just transfer it slowly. I just like to put the hose right on the side so I don't make it a splash and then end up with a lot of foam. On the side, it falls down nice and doesn't foam up. This is a very important step. We're in the cold side of the brew now, so now anything that falls into the beer, into the wort at this point, it's not beer yet. It can contaminate it, and it's gonna ruin your beer, so you can end up with something contaminated, sour. So I like to keep the lid as close as possible. You know, I just try not to talk right above it, and in case it's dead or something. It's just on top in the wort that's gonna ruin it. We're almost done with our brew day. Now we're gonna do is oxygenate the wort. I like to use pure oxygen. Just get this at the hardware store and an air filter, because this is not meant, for like health purposes. So it might have some impurities in there. Probably nothing alive, but we don't know what could be in there. So I use a little filter. Then I like to do, I don't have a flow meter, so what I go for is a rate that I try to be consistent with just by looking at it. I know it might not be perfect, but hey, it works for now for me. I kind of know how many turns I do on this thing and what comes out of it, and I do that for a minute. So my director's gonna time me right now. We're gonna go for a minute. Yeah, so I'm just shaking it to get that oxygen moving. Get the wort moving. With the oxygen making contact with it.
It's a minute.
And it's been a minute. We're gonna go ahead and stop it. it down for a minute, shaking it like, you know, just to get the working contact with the options that I'm putting in there. So then just close it good and just give it a couple more little shakes just to make sure it gets the work absorbs as much oxygen as it can. And at this point we're done, and we're just gonna take it inside the house to our fermentation chamber, and we're gonna fix the yeast and set the temperature of the fermenter to 67, and that's gonna be it. Alright, well, we're almost done. We just need to pick the yeast. This is my yeast sorter. I did this on Monday. I have a stir plate where I put it. It's we're gonna use Wyeast 1056. I use MrMalty.com to calculate the pitch rate and how much I need it. So it's a 2-liter starter, and it was done on Monday. So I did it Monday. Turned it off of the took it off the stir plate on Tuesday, then stuck it on the fridge Tuesday night. So it's been on the fridge, cold crashing. So now I'm gonna decant about up to here. I'm just gonna leave enough for it to swirl it and make sure I get the yeast in suspension. This doesn't taste good, so you don't want this on your beer. That's why I always like to crash it and get it to settle out, and then decant it and then pitch it in. So I'm gonna go do that right now. I'm gonna toss this in the sink, and then I'm gonna pitch it. Just have to be careful not to stir it. I mean, not to disturb the yeast at the bottom. Just get it really careful. And this yeast starter, it's at 68 degrees, and my wort, it's at 70 degrees. So I'm gonna ferment 67, but I'm still gonna pitch it anyways at 68 degrees, and then just drop about a degree. Well, with my wort's at 70 degrees, I guess it's gonna have to drop 3 degrees, but it's not too bad if I pitch the yeast right now. I've done it before. So, and I like to use a magnet. Put a magnet at the bottom for the stir bar, so I don't wanna, you know, pitch the yeast and the stir bar goes into it, because then it's gonna be in there for the whole fermentation. So this is my fermenter. It's a conical stainless from Brewing Technologies. It's a 7.5 gallons. I didn't buy this. I got it for Christmas as a Christmas present for my girlfriend. So we're thankful for that, and it's pretty cool. I'm gonna reuse this yeast for another batch. I'm not sure what yet, so that's what's very cool for the conical. And this is my sensor for my temperature control. The rank, I'm gonna set it at 67. And this is my fermentation chamber. This is also a gift from the director, the one who's filming right now, my friend Carlos. And he built this for me. And then I used to have ice bottles and just swap out the ice bottles, but I wanted to do lagers, and to try to do that with ice bottles in the summer, it's really hard. So then I just bought a mini fridge, and then I cut a hole in the back, and now I use that with the fermenter. Set it and forget about it, kind of thing. So this is measuring the temperature of the beer inside of it. It's pretty accurate. I haven't had a problem with the temperature control. It's one of the best things you can do for your beer. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fix the yeast. That smells awesome. the last step. So now I'm just gonna put in the fermenter, set it to 67. So I'm gonna put it in there. I've done this batch a couple of times before with the same yeast, Wyeast 1056, and it's done fermenting in 8 days. So after 8 days, I let it. Actually, on day 5, right when I start noticing like it's starting to slow down with the bubbles in the airlock is starting to slow down, then I bring it up a degree. Then next day I bring it up another degree, and then the next day another degree. So bring it up from 67 to 70. So by the time it's done fermenting, it's at 70, and that's kind of like my diacetyl rest. You know, diacetyl is the buttery or flavor that the yeast produce, and you know, you want to give the yeast enough time to clean that up after they're done fermenting your beer. So bringing the temperature up, that kind of keeps them going towards the end of fermentation, and they finish the beer, they finish cleaning it up. So this is a really quick beer, two week from brew day to the tap. So in 8 days, like 8 to 10 days of tap it, let it carbonate for a week, and then be good to go, good to drink. So thank you for watching, and we'll come back in a few more weeks once we're done. We're done fermenting, and we're gonna see what it tastes like.